My boyfriend, 27, and I, 26, have been together for 2 years. He's a good heart and is normally rational, but his one issue is that he expects to accompany me in every occasion no matter how big or small. He even went with me to my ex-boyfriend's funeral after days of begging. Now my best friend got married few days ago. It was very small and only close family and friends were invited. My boyfriend couldn't come because of the +1 rule. He pitched a hissy fit saying my best friend has no respect for my relationship and was shocked when he learned that I was still going to attend. He told me that if he can't go then I'm expected to not go as well, but that is my best friend and I had to respect her rules. He gave me an ultimatum: either we go together or I stay home with him. I ended up going cause again I respected my friend's rules. He was angry with me and kept calling the entire 2 hours drive, then stopped. Later I got a text from his friend telling me he, my boyfriend, got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. I freaked out. He gave me the address and I had to leave the wedding and told my friends why. I was crying the entire drive home and kept calling his friend but got no response. I arrived to the hospital and asked about my boyfriend and they checked and told me he wasn't there. My anxiety reached 160% as I kept calling his friends one by one. I just went home and there he was, along with his friend. He saw me and said that he was sorry, but this was the only he can get me home after I left him alone. After the initial shock I just blew up yelling at him about lying and making me leave my friend's wedding and having me literally go to the hospital and freaking out cause of him. I kicked his friend out and we got into an argument. He kept talking about how much I love him, thus I left, which is my own doing, not his, and he was just trying to see if I really chose my friend's wedding over him. He then argued that my friend caused this and I shouldn't agree with her to exclude him. I said what he did was horrible and called him horrible and then went to my room. It was awful cause my friends kept calling to check in on him cause they thought he was really at the hospital. He said I overreacted and that I yelled at the wrong person. Next story. My wife and I had our first child around 2 months ago. She was home isolated during her entire pregnancy after the 6th-month mark because of some pregnancy complications. We had also agreed that the first 2 months after birth our parents and siblings would be the only ones allowed to visit and see the baby, and our friends and rest of the relatives could wait. As soon as the baby turned 2 months my wife started trying to get back into her social life again. Sometimes she'd bring the baby with her, but sometimes she'd expect me to babysit. Whenever I couldn't babysit she'd call her mom to ask her if she could care for the baby for a few hours. My wife's a great mom and she truly cares for our baby, but it's frustrating how she feels the need to go out the entire time. One day while she was out shopping with a friend of hers, I was babysitting the kid and my mom visited me and asked where my wife was. I told her that she's out with a friend. My mom got very mad about how my wife went out and she told me I have no backbone for not calling her out and telling her to stay home with the baby. I told my mom I'll handle this. My mom waited until my wife got back home and she started scolding her. It wasn't a proud moment of me and I really didn't want my mom to get involved, but my wife needed to hear it from someone else too. My mom told my wife that she's irresponsible and that she should cut down her meetings with friends and stay home to care for the kid as a proper mother would. My wife tried to defend herself saying how I was always out with my friends both during her pregnancy and after she gave birth, but both I and my mom tried to explain how me going out is not the same as her going out. My mom told her that the little walks and coffee hangouts with her friends are over and that she better get used to the fact that her social life will now be limited. It sucks, but that's how it is. I agreed with my mother on all that and my wife is not speaking to me for days. She even sleeps in the guest room now and took the baby's crib there as well. She will only cook for herself and the baby and not for me. My mill and my sil have texted me saying I was a huge off for this and so was my mom, so I should not be surprised my wife is acting like that towards me. Next story. I am African and my husband is Jamaican. When we were dating, I started cutting his nails, toes and hands, just for fun. I am a very caring person, so it made me very happy to cut his nails while we were watching a movie or something. We got married a little bit before COVID hit, so on top of cutting his nails, I started cutting his hair as well because barbershops were closed. I truly enjoyed myself doing these things, especially styling his beard that I asked him to keep because I like the look. I never asked him to do such thing in return simply because I am a control freak and like to do things on my own. All was going well until I got pregnant. I kept doing all these things for him. As the belly got bigger, I couldn't reach and cut my own toenails. So, one day as I was struggling to do it myself, my husband walked in the room and I asked him to help me cut my nails. His reaction shocked me as he said that he can never do that because he is a man. I brought to his attention that I have been doing it for him for years and I am only asking because I can't do it myself. He told me that I can do it for him because I am a woman, but him cutting my nails would be diminishing and I am trying to emasculate him. His response broke my feelings because I truly thought that he would be happy to take care of me, the same way I was doing for him. So, I told him that I wouldn't be cutting his nails or his hair. Sometimes I see his long nails and he looks so unkempt, and it drives me crazy. Sometimes he has an important meeting at work, and I look at the hair and beard that need trimming, but I resist the urge to do something about it because he made me feel so inferior as a human being and it wasn't the best feeling. Next story. Good morning. I am 26 was put in a new position in the company that requires me to go out with other coworkers to meet up with clients on locations. We have this coworker, Nancy, who's the newest member of the team. She kind of keeps to herself and don't talk much beside the work stuff. Yesterday, we were out working and Nancy arrived 10 minutes later. She said her son was sick and that's why she was late. She didn't want to eat on lunch break and she didn't bring anything, so we invited her and offered some snacks. One thing I noticed was that she had her sunglasses on the entire time. Yes, we were outside but she never took them off. I looked at the sunglasses and it dawned on me that they were a brand made for men. I didn't know if she knew and whether she intended on wearing them, so I casually pointed it out to her and told her that she was wearing men's sunglasses. She looked at me and asked, "So what?" I said I figured maybe she didn't notice, but it was obvious to everyone else that she was wearing men's sunglasses this entire time. My coworkers started laughing and Nancy suddenly got up from her seat and excused herself. My female coworker side-eyed me, then said that Nancy was obviously concerned for her sick kid and there was no reason for me to be fixated on her sunglasses and humiliating her in front of everyone. I said I was just letting her know, but she said that really it was none of MG concern and I overstepped. I told her I casually just brought it up without any bad intentions, but I was told I needed to apologize to Nancy later, which I didn't because I don't think I said something out of line or overstepping. I was just talking about the sunglasses since I have knowledge in these brands. Besides that, if I didn't point this out to her, someone else would have. My male coworkers thought that Nancy was being too sensitive and I was good and didn't to apologize, but they could be biased since they always side with me in all of my arguments, so I'm leaving this to you folks. Next story. My girlfriend, 22F, and I, 22F, have been together for 2 years. For the past year though, we kept having some issues. One of those issues being posting on social media. She has a problem with me posting anything, which I rarely do anyway, and when I do it's a meme, my cat, or art. Well, every time I did post something she ended up upset and wouldn't even tell me why she's upset even if I ask her multiple times throughout the day. I'm trying to be patient with her considering she's struggling with BPD and other issues, but I do too, and I feel like she expects me to fix her issues for her. When she finally tells me what the problem is, it's after a mental breakdown. Well, last time it happened I posted some random art I found. She was asleep all day since she's struggling to sleep at night. When she woke up she was upset again. I kept asking her what upset her and she only said, "I don't know," every time. After about 3 hours she finally told me I made her uncomfortable with my post and said it's weird I post in the first place. Kept asking why I do that and who do I want it to see it. I told her I didn't do anything wrong and I can post if I want to and I don't need a reason to post something if I like it. That's when she actually got annoyed and told me I was mean to her. Didn't consider how she felt and invalidated her feelings. She also said I neglected her because I didn't show it to her and posted it instead. I explained that I didn't show it because she was asleep and every time I did she ignored it and changed the subject to whatever she wanted to talk about. I also said if she didn't like it so much she should have said something in the beginning of our relationship, not a year later, and that I won't be changing it. At this point she got really defensive and told me I was horrible and that I made her uncomfortable. NGL this upset me, so I ended up saying she was being controlling and needed professional help for this massive reaction, and I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells because a stupid post makes her uncomfortable and she expects me to change everything because of her issues. I told her I tried to help as much as I can and reassure her, but I am also not in a good place and she can't expect me to enable controlling behavior. I did apologize after this because maybe I didn't deliver it the right way, but I also don't think I did something wrong for her to react the way she did, and I don't think I can handle this type of reaction every time she doesn't like something.